Hey everyone, welcome back to part 2. So if you haven't already, I'd recommend checking out part 1. I'll leave a little tag up in the corner just so you can check that out. We look at setting up interactions with the guns or the pickups so we can actually use the controllers based on what hand they're in. And then what we're going to do is this episode we're going to add our paintball gun, essentially our static mesh, to the hand and get the rotation correct so we can actually get on to shooting something. If you want access to the project files, they're available through Patreon and they'll probably be up there to begin with. So first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to go to our pickup interact. We're going to right click. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by duplicating our interactable cube. We're going to right click and we're going to do duplicate. We're going to duplicate this. We're going to call it BP underscore paintball gun. Going to hit enter. And then in here, we want to go to our attach component to component. We're going to drag off and we're going to do set actor, location, and rotation. And we're going to actually drag off the attach to, get world transform. We're then going to break the transform and we're going to plug in our rotation for now. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to set our location differently, but we need to check whereabouts in the hand it's going to be essentially. So we're going to drag off here. We're going to do break vector for now. And we're going to leave this like this. Just hit compile. And the next thing we need to do is actually set our static mesh to our paintball gun. So this will be the weapon that you're using. So you want to select your static mesh component, change your static mesh to the weapon. And I find that you need to scale or set the scale back to 1. For this to be accurate, we're going to hit compile and save. And now what we need to do is set our hand location. So what we need to do is actually get whereabouts in the world it's going to be placed. And this is relative to the actual hands and the controllers. So we need to go to motion controller and we need to open up our BP motion controller. And in here we go to viewport. So we're going to actually bring our weapon in so we can line it up correctly. So now we're in the viewport. We're actually going to select our motion controller and then we're going to add component. We're going to do child actor. And with this selected, we're going to go to child actor class. Then we're going to search for our paintball gun. So in your case, it might be a different name, but it'll still work the same way. And then we can see that it actually lines up pretty well with the open hand. But what we need is the grip. So we're going to go to animation mode. We're going to change this to use animation asset. And you can see it's already set to right grab for me, but we're going to select the animation grab. And we're then going to select our child actor and position this in the correct location. So we'll move this over a little bit. So that looks about right. The animations are perfect, but it fits in. And then what we actually want to do is take a note of these locations here. So we're going to copy this X value. We're going to paste it into this node here. We'll just remove the minus off there. And then we're going to do the same for the Y. So I'm going to copy that. Do another minus. And paste that number in there. And now what we can do is we can actually do a make vector and plug these back in. So we can plug that into our new location. We can hit compile. And now if we go to motion controller, we can actually delete the child actor and we can set the hand mesh back to animation blueprint. And if we go back into our scene, we can actually drag in our paintball gun. And we're going to rotate it around so it's just on this surface, and we're going to stick these on there. And just because it's bugging me, I'm actually going to change that material to black. So now what we can do is we can actually hit play. We can jump back into the headset. And if we pick up our guns, they actually go to our hands and they line up correctly with what we've got. And they still interact based on what's there. So that's pretty much how we can get weapons to match our hands and how we can pick them up. Is so far we've got the hands set up. So we can actually pick up our weapons and we can hold them in both hands. And what we'll do is in the next video, we'll set up the actual projectile. I'll be using a physics-based one, so we can actually have an arc to the projectile. If you want access to the files for this project, they'll be available on the Patreon, and they'll be up when this video goes up. And until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.